الفلاح حي على خير الأعمال حي على خير الأعمال الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم اجعل قلبي بارا وعملي سارا وعيشي قارا ورزقي ضالا وولادي أبرارا واجعل عند قبر نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم مستقرا بقرارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم كما قال عز شان كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يراه ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينته النجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وأروة وثقى فقال الإمام الحاضر إمام الزمان الإمام مهدي عليه الصلاة والسلام في كلامه وأكثر الدعاء بتعجيل الفرج فإن ذلك فرجكم والسلام عليك وعلى من اتبع الهدى صلوات على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the taqwa and the piety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as is the best of provisions. These ayyam, the middle of the month of Shaban al-Mu'azzam, are associated with the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. And inshallah you'll hear a lot more regarding Imam in these ayyam as we have programs all around. And inshallah here in this Masjid-e-Ali program on Saturday night. I recited this words or the saying or the hadith of Imam himself upon correspondence with one of his companions who had written a letter to him or asking a question to Imam by the name Ishaq ibn Yaqub. Imam responded by saying, وَأَكْثِرُوا الدُّعَاءَ بِتَعْجِيلِ الْفَرَجِ فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ فَرَجُكُمْ. Pray excessively for the hastening of the return of our Imam and the opening of the difficulties because your faraj is also in it. We see that faraj here means opening of all the difficulties. And that is indeed the case when we see in the ghaibat of Imam, which was also a prediction from Rasulullah, that of course the world will be engulfed and enveloped into turmoil and difficulties. And of course, when it will be filled with it, يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضُ قِسْطًا ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا, when it will be filled with zulm and injustice and jawr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send his Imam or the Imam of our time, who will do what? Who will fill this world with adlan wa qista, with justice and equality. So faraj here means opening of all the difficulties, the problems of the Shias in particular, and Muslims in general, when you see around the world. will come to an end with the zuhur of our Imam. As long as Imam is in ghaibat, Shias in particular, all around, will continue to face this persecution, injustice, oppression, and lack of rights. And of course, people in general will also suffer. Faraj of Imam can change, meaning it can be sooner or it could be later. It could be earlier or it could be delayed. One of the elements of it being sooner is, of course, our dua for the Faraj of Imam. As he himself is saying, وَأَكْثِرُوا الدُّعَاءَ بِتَعْجِيلِ الْفَرَجِ. You make this dua for the ta'jil of the Faraj. Ta'jil means the hastening of the reappearance of Imam. We know that dua that doesn't emerge from the heart, and one hasn't paved the path for it to be from the bottom of the heart, will most likely remain unanswered. Therefore, when making dua, especially this particular dua for the Faraj of Imam, make it from your heart and pave the path for it so that it is with khudu and khushu. We find in this context when Imam had these tawqiyat, so these tawqiyat are called that Imam had correspondence with many of the people of his time. When he was in ghaibat-e sughra, the minor occultation, there was this khattu kitabat that was common. And there are many tawqiyat that are found in the books of ahadith. Many, of course, we rely upon. Many you may not be able to completely rely upon. But the ones that have our ulama discussed and we can rely upon amongst them is this, where Imam, when he was written a letter regarding his imamat. Because as it is today, people start doubting that you have a belief in an Imam who's 1,200 years old, right? The other day, I lead salat in the Sadiq school once a week. And so I was speaking to the kids. They go up till second grade right now, inshallah, will increase. Go up to second grade. So you imagine second graders' mind. And so I told them that you do the math of how old Imam Zamana is. When they heard that he's 1,200 years old, right away they were surprised. Of course, for a child that age, it's okay for them to be surprised that someone is 1,200 years old. Someone who himself is 6 or 7 or 8 year old is going to go ahead and be surprised and puzzled by it. But when you are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, then you shouldn't have any surprise element. Why? Because there are so many signs of those who lived before Imam Zamana to be thousands of years old. Hazrat Nuh is the prime example of that. And many other anbiya that are mentioned in Quran are prime example of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extended their lifetime. So Imam, when someone wrote a letter to him, this is in Shaykh Tusi in his book Al-Ghaiba, narrates the story of a confrontation between Abi Ghanim al-Qazwini and a group of Shia regarding the successor of 11th Imam. And then, Abu Ghanim, of course, who didn't believe in Imam Zamana, and he contradicted this theory. Some of the Shias wrote a letter to Imam describing the confrontation. Imam replied to their letter in his own writing after making dua khair for his followers and requesting them to have yaqeen muhkam. Be steadfast. Because as time goes by for something that you have not been in touch with, what starts to happen? That concept starts to become, weaker and weaker. He said he did dua khair for his followers, and then Imam ﷺ requested them to have yaqeen. Then he said this, وَفِي إِبْنَةِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ لِي أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Look at the example that he's given. He said, in the daughter of the Messenger of Allah, I find an excellent example. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Ayat of Quran says that indeed in the Rasulullah is the best of the role models for you. Imam said, in this regard, when people are doubting, I find my Jad, Fatimatu Zahra, salamullahi alayha, to be what? My role model. She's an excellent example for me. He says, سَيُرْضِ الْجَاهِلَ رِضَاءَةُ عَمَلِهِ وَسَيَعْلَمُ الْكَافِرُ لِمَنْ أُقْبَ الدَّارِ. He said, the ignorant will be repelled by the ugliness of their actions, and the unbeliever will come to know who in the end will be protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah safeguard us and you from the dangers and the evils and the afflictions and all the shortcomings through His mercy. Imam makes this dua for his followers. Imam adds, when he said that I find Hazrat Zahra to be my role model. What is the reason Imam is using her to be the role model? It's unknown, but ulama have given their rai and opinion about it. They say, well, Janab Zahra didn't accept or bow in front of any zalim hakim. Imam is saying, she is my role model. I will not bow in front of any zalim either. Imam wrote, if I was allowed, if I had the permission, I would have made the truth absolutely obvious for you, leaving no doubt whatsoever. Meaning, if I was not in this ghaibat al-sughra, this minor occultation, I would make it absolutely clear for you. Because you didn't have problem with the previous imams, you were able to see them, you were able to visit them, and we were able to counter our enemies head on. But that is not the case anymore. If I had the permission, I was allowed, I would have made the truth absolutely obvious upon you, leaving no doubt behind. But my role model here is Hazrat Fatima. She knew that the haqq had been usurped from Amirul Mu'mineen, but never tried to use elements which are beyond people's comprehension. Look, if I want to convince you regarding something, I'm going to convince you with things which you can easily comprehend, which you can easily understand. I'm not going to be able, nor I have the ability to produce a mu'jiza for you. Although Ma'asumeen had the ability to do karamat, Janab Sayyida did not utilize any karamat. She could have used karamat to convince people, but she knows that Rasulullah used mu'jizat, and the miracle is still people who disbelieve, just remain disbelievers. How many times people ask Rasulullah to show signs that he is the Nabi? And Rasul knew that even if he fulfills their hajat or their command, they will still not believe in him. He showed it through his actions by many miracles that are associated with Rasulullah. Yet those who didn't want to believe in him never brought iman onto him. But here Janab Sayyida, and he says that I am following her lead, did not use any means which were beyond the comprehension of the people to show some sort of karamat and miracle, and by which there's no denial after that. Right? A proof which there's no way of denying, she did not use any of those, although she was capable of using. He said, I will do the same thing. Imam further wrote, and were it not for the love and the righteousness and mercy that we have toward you. Look at the compassion that Imam has for his followers. He said, and our compassion for you, we would refrain from addressing you due to our preoccupation with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tested us with. You constantly asking us, oh Imam, provide a proof of your imamat because so-and-so is challenging us. Imam said, it's due to our love and compassion that we have for you. Otherwise, we are so busy and preoccupied with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this is waste of time. To come out and constantly prove to people that I am the Imam of the Ummah. You know what? Similar is the case for you and I. We should be beyond the part where we need to prove the imamat of 12 imams. We are beyond that, where we need to prove the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt alayhi wassalam. That is established already. Sometimes it seems that we're still stuck in that. There's so much role that everyone in the society can play. Scholars, first and foremost. You know, anyone who has the pulpit in their hands. Leaders of the community. Reciters. Those who write poetry and compose poetry through their words. They can do so much. Yes, it's good to praise Ahlul Bayt. Madhe Ahlul Bayt is, sawab in it for you. But if you're constantly trying to prove the imamat of Imam in your shairi, in my speech, if I'm constantly trying to prove the wilayat of Imam in my speech and in your poetry, then we're stagnant. We're stationary. We're not moving beyond that place. There's nothing wrong in praising and writing, and that is accepted in the bargah of Ahlul Bayt, and you are rewarded for that a great deal. But look at the words of Imam himself. What did he say? He said, if it wasn't for our love to you, we would refrain from answering this question because we're so much occupied with what Allah has tested us with. The occupation that we have, that's why many of the scholars took the stance that anytime there were these polemical issues, when someone would go ahead and question the validity of Aimma Athar, they would not even respond to them. They would refer to the ayat, the khatabahumul jahiluna qalu salama. This is a waste of time. We don't need to prove the wilayat of Aimma Athar. If one doesn't believe in it, let that be the case. They'll come to the path on their own. We don't need to further go ahead and say, well, Imam is mansus min Allah, and there's a riwayat regarding this, the ayat of Quran, innama waliyukumullah wa rasuluhu wallazina amanu wallazina yuqimuna salat wa yutuna zakat wa hum raki'un, or atiullah wa atiur rasul wa ulil amri minkum, and all these ayat. We've gone past that, where we need to prove to anyone the haqqaniyat of the wilayat of Ma'sumin alayhi salatu wasalam. Or at least, this discussion can be alive when you're speaking to those who are not followers of Ahlul Bayt. What is the need of proving this constantly to those who are already followers of Maktab Ahlul Bayt? Do I really need to prove to you the wilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen? Do I really need to prove to you the wilayat of Imam Zamana? If that is the case, then where is our Iman? We are beyond proving this concept because it is well established. The way you believe in the one God, the way you believe in the prophets, the way you should believe in Imams. The authority that is vested in Imams is the similar that was vested in Prophet, is similar what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to them. So that part is already understood. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said the same thing in this tawqi. And then Imam continued regarding those, because the question was arise, and people ask, what about those who are constantly questioning your authenticity? Imam said, فَعَلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ بَيْنَ. So, when a person said regarding this confrontation and those who are within your family members, who are constantly poking this question, because if outsider, doubts, that's one thing. But someone within the family starts doubting, that's a big problem. So if an outsider is doubting, that's all right. But within the family, there were doubts. Imam responded, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ بَيْنَ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلْ وَبَيْنَ أَحَدٍ قَرَابَةٌ وَمَنْ أَنْكَرَنِي فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي وَسَبِيلُهُ سَبِيلُ ابْنِ نُوحٍ أَمَّا سَبِيلُ عَمِّي جَعْفَرْ وَوُلْدِهِ فَسَبِيلُ إِخْوَةِ يُوسُف. He says, there's no relationship between Allah and anyone. There's no qirabat dari, there's no relationship, there's no rishtadari. Let me put it that way. There's no, family relations between Allah and anyone else. Allah is not family member of yours. Lam yalid wa lam yulad, right? He's not your family. So when that's the case, whoever denies me, faman ankarani, is not from me. Similar is the case, it's not from me. But as far as and the path of those individuals will be the path of the son of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. You go study the story of Hazrat Nuh. What happened? Hazrat Nuh is calling him, come to the ship, board the ark, and he's like, no, I'll climb onto the mountain. He said, no mountain will save you today, except the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, those who deny me, their path is the similar path to the path of the son of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. And then when the question was in particular to his family members, he said, وَأَمَّا سَبِيلُ عَمِّي جَعْفَرْ, my uncle Ja'far, known as Ja'far al-Kadhab, and his children, فَسَبِيلُ إِخْوَةِ Yusuf. Their path is the path of the brothers of Hazrat Yusuf. Look at the example Imam is giving. If they come eventually to the path, they'll be forgiven. If they're not, then whatever happened to the brothers of Hazrat Yusuf will be dealt with them as well. This is also a reply to the question by Ishaq ibn Yaqub. He asked quite many questions regarding the relatives of Imam, and Imam responded in this particular way. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And then, of course, Imam then also continued with the explanation by reciting that famous hadith, which is agreed upon between Sunni and Shia. Rasulullah said, "Innama mathalu ahli bayti fikum kamathali safinati nuhin." The example of my Ahlul Bayt is the example of the Ark of Noah. Man rakibaha naja, wa man takhallafa anha gharaqa. Whoever boarded it was given salvation, and who stayed away from it, of course, was drowned in it. Then Imam turns to, and inshallah I'll conclude as I'm running out of my time, and then Imam concludes by saying who has hurt Imam the most. When these sort of questions came, Imam explains, who has hurt me more? Is it the outside enemies? Imam said this. These are the words of Imam. قَدْ آذَانَا جُهَلَاءُ الشِّيعَةِ وَهُمَقَاؤُهُمْ وَمَنْ دِينُهُ جَنَاحُ الْبَعُوذَةِ أَرْجَهُ مِنْهُ. Let me translate this for you. Many of you might have already understood. Imam said, the one who did the most adiyat to us and harmed us the most, the ignorant and the foolish Shia, those whose deen is less in weight than the wings of a mosquito, are the ones who have hurt us the most. Juhala and humaqa. Those who are ignorant and those who are foolish. So don't be amongst the ignorant and don't be amongst those who are foolish. And of course, this hadith has come in one of the letters in reply to Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Hilal Karkhi, in response to the group of Nusayri and Ghali, those who drew similarities in the powers and the knowledge of Allah with Imams. Imam responded in this way. The action of Nusayri and Ghali became the reason for the mukhalifin of Shia madhab to give fatwa against the Shia, calling them to be kafir, najis, and wajibul qatl, and mahdurud dam, and so on and so forth. Imam said the worst of the enemies are not those who are openly challenging us. The worst of the are those who have hurt us the most are the juhala and the humaqa of the Shia, unfortunately. They are the ones who have hurt us the most. Of course, concluding over here, don't have a great deal of time. Wujud of Imam, which is as obvious as the sun in the sky. There shouldn't be any doubt, none whatsoever. How can you doubt in the existence of an Imam? Because this is not the mas'ala of aqaid, this is the mas'ala of the sadaqat of Sadiq Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The one who were considered by kuffar Amin and Sadiq. This is not the issue of the aqidah anymore. This is the issue of the sadaqat of Rasulullah and his khabar. What did Rasulullah say? Rasulullah said that after me there will be 12 khulafa. The first one of them is this, and the last one will be Mahdi. They will all be from Quraysh. They will all be from Banu Hashim. They will all be from the Nasl of Fatima and Ali. And after Hussein, the ninth one will be Imam al-Hujjah, who is the last of all of them. Rasulullah named every single one. Still people doubt, then there's nothing you can do about it. Mention that there are two important nights. One is Shab-e Qadr. One is the 15th of Shaban. First is Mansoob with the Khatamul Anbiya. The second one, which is coming on Saturday or Sunday, is Mansoob with Khatamul Awsiya, Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. So that's why he said the denier of his existence despite abundant proofs is like the denier of the existence of sun when the clouds hide it from the plain sight. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us a tawfiq and ability to remain firm as far as the imamat and the belief in the imamat of Imam of our time is concerned. These are rough times, these are difficult times, these are challenging times, And Imams had predicted these times, especially in the ghaibat of Imam. Therefore, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us steadfast and keep on praying for the faraj of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam in Nasr al-Hadith. Wa ablagh al-mu'idha kitabullah a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal 'asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبا وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد على معاصي العباد إلا كرما وجودا وعلى كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وسوف نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو لطوف على العباد بجوده والعباد والمذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفية إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان ما هي آثار البدء والطغيان هادم ابن الشرك والنفاق حاسد فرو البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آبائه الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو في الدرجات اللهم افعل ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل به ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين من يذكر فذكره إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى ينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله وليم بالظالمين قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده وبصل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر ربنا فرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضيف الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jummah Mubarak to you all. Let us recognize the sponsors for today's Jummah lunch. It is the family of Dr. and Mrs. Aftab Hussain. Please recite a Surah Fatiha for their deceased relatives as well as your Surah Fatiha. Bismillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Couple more requests for Surah Fatiha. Marhum Syed Qamar Razi, father of Dr. Fahim, passed away today in Pakistan. His request for Surah Fatiha for his departed soul, as well as Syed Anjum Raza Rizvi, son of Syed Ibn Hassan Rizvi, who also passed away today in Karachi, Pakistan. Please recite a Surah Fatiha for both of these marhumin Surah Fatihas. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Couple of announcements. Inshallah, tonight we have the regular futsal and Quran Academy for both boys and girls. Girls program starts at 6:30. Boys program starts at 7. 7 to 8 they do Quran, and then 8 to 9 they play in the Sadiq school gym. And then of course the older kids, they start their discussion at 8 o'clock, and then they play until they're tired, as I'm told. Also regarding Sadiq school, inshallah there will be summer camp, daycare during summer, and inshallah we will have up to grade 4 next year as well. So registration for all of these things are open. You can go to the website sadiqschool.com and all the information will be there. Tomorrow, Saturday, February 24th, inshallah, we will be celebrating grand jashan of the wiladat of Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, as it will be the eve of Nima Shaban, 15th of Shaban, tomorrow being the 14th. Inshallah, we'll have the special amal of the night of Shab Barat or Nima Shaban. Email went out with the amal, specific amal that inshallah we'll be performing, Ariza in Urdu and English. For the program itself, inshallah, will start at 6 p.m. with Namaz-e-Maghribain and followed by dinner, inshallah. And after the dinner, we will have the jashan, starting with the Urdu poetry. And following that, we will have the English lecture by visiting scholar Syed Jawad Qazwini. So do take part in this program, inshallah, tomorrow sharp, starting at 6 p.m. with Salat-e-Maghribain. Inshallah, after the program concludes, we will do the specific amal of Shab-e-Qadr. Also, simultaneously, 15 Shaban children's program will be running from 7:30 to 8:30. Moms and toddlers program will be in the ladies banquet hall downstairs. This is for children age 4. And then above that, up till the age 14, upstairs classrooms, youth and children program. And lastly, children with special needs and disabilities, their program will also be in the upper level classroom. So bring the entire family. The whole family will inshallah take part in the celebrations in Jashan, and as well as the kids benefiting from these specific programs that are geared toward them. Let's recite Dua Sahat for all of those people who are in need of dua, those who are suffering, struggling, going through difficult time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them out of their difficulties. Remember all the community members who are suffering, and let's pray for the people of Gaza as well, and Muslimin all around the globe who are going through difficult time. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ إِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَّا تَذَكَّرُونَ. اللهم صل Let's proceed to Salatul Asr. Please fill in the gaps wherever you see. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah, ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya ala salati, hayya ala salah, hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala khayr al-amal, hayya ala khayr al-amal. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته يقوم وقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد تسبيح فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها.